Hi, my name is Chris, and this is my LinkedIn profile. I'm trying to make a video that talks about looking for work and opportunities online, looking for connections. How do you go about that? And on LinkedIn, LinkedIn is a social media it's a social media platform, but for professionals, from all different professionals, not just people who work in, you know, large corporations, but it could even be people who are in education facilities or institutions who are students who are looking to become a particular profession. For example, for me personally, I started using this platform well after I've been working in the field, and I have kind of mixed feelings about how it works. Most of the time, it looks like, if you look at it from a game perspective, if you put this game in, you actually are interacting with people who claim to have the particular skills, or they claim to be of a particular area of expertise, or maybe they're a recruiter or not. So you have to kind of want to figure out who they are. And every now and then, I bite and have a conversation with someone. They will come on the line and they will say, hey, they will say, like this guy named Josh Perry. I'm gonna bring him up right there. There's Josh Perry. There he is, right there, that guy. And this guy here, he says that he is, he's interested in opportunities. This is the kind of, and it's almost like a textbook. Let me move my screen here so you can see it too. Yeah. So he goes ahead. He explains to himself that he's interested in different companies, and he talks about pay and all the things, and it's very textbook, straightforward. And the thing about it is that I answered him back saying I would like to record the conversation, use it for a vlog if that was cool for you moving forward. And he said honestly he doesn't mind that at all, but I would like to ask you for a discussion before publishing anything, and like when my likeness and context is most crucial. So here's what the blog is for. I would love to learn more. So the idea, so I made a conversation, I made a LinkedIn an invite, and he called me at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, So I have the recording here, and we can go ahead and listen to it, And the idea is like, what do you think about the conversation? Do you feel that the conversation was, is it helpful? Are the questions something that you would answer? The idea is like, I want to find out how to actually work on LinkedIn. My personal idea is to just use LinkedIn as a way to kind of build a pool of networking, a pool of people, and you talk about the different things you're looking to get done, how you're getting it done. Me making videos like this, where I discuss, the conversation, of, working in this field. Like, for example, you'll listen to this conversation. I don't want to really go too far with it, so here it is.
Perhaps about connecting dots, and so if we can talk through what you've done and what you want to do in your career, then we can parlay that into one of the many openings that I have right now with a variety of different clients. And then from there, then just kind of talk through what the process looks like and how we can stay in touch for any additional roles that may come available in the future. Does that sound all right?
First off, I would want to basically say, can I just record this call and be able to use this call, just so I can, practice on, talking on the phone with recruiters and stuff.
I'm on 9 technically, but if you have questions, ask, man. I know all the tips and tricks and the way these recruiters play these games, and I'm sitting here priding myself on being a great recruiter. So, priding yourself on being the nicest guy in prison, it doesn't quite hold the weight that people get excited for it to hold. So,
all right. So yeah, go ahead and shoot.
Perfect, my friend. Well, then I'm actually going to flip it on you. Hey, I do have one request, though, all right? As we record and you talk through, the approach that I take to recruiting is a smidge different than a lot of other organizations, so just don't share this recording with other recruiters. Is that cool?
Like I said, by being able to record the recording will be able to allow me to, for education services and to help others understand on how recruiting is on the phone. A lot of people right now have to, work with recruiters over the phone, and, being able to get like a very, decent or normal standard, if that's the term, interview or screening call would be the ideal thing. So there's really nothing to like really worry about.
So right there, I was kind of like rambling on a little bit because I was actually not really sure about wanting to talk anymore about my own, roles with just a stranger on the phone. But, there has been a time where I used to do that to get the roles I actually have, the roles I actually have in my, on my actual, right here on my blog, I show my profile page. I have all the experiences where people would call. I would apply somewhere, you would have a recruiter calling you and talk to you. Here, I was at school, so I didn't really. Let me tell you, yeah. Here at Stony Brook, I was at school, so I was able to go get people to do that. Also, this actually working here led me doing stuff here, And I applied to this on Monster.com, and I got a call from somebody from the company. And then this is something I applied at the state. I had a state job, I was working over there. So, and the state job was like that. This was another job. This role here, I was actually working at Cablevision as a tech support help desk. And so getting on the phone and talking to people on the phone was a very common thing to do. You always would do that because of the fact that that was the way you would get work. But we're changing now. Now it looks like it's not really about you getting work right now. The way they make money is just getting information on you. So, now do you want to go ahead and despite what you have on your blog, they're grabbing information from you. And he, like in the beginning of the call, you'll hear him say he tried to connect the dots. And that's what he's trying to go ahead and do. He called himself career advisor, talent agent, recruiter, technologist. That's kind of like me going ahead and saying, that I'm a web programmer, creative technologist. So like this pairing up with you to make it look like you're very similar is like something I'm thinking. That's the new theme for this particular type of like roles. And it's not. I'm not really actually clear on how I would want to continue with this, but because it's fun to to try to like figure out things and do things like differently like this, I would definitely try it out. So I'm going to continue to call, and we're going to see if this is what this is about. I'll try to stop every now and then and talk about it. And if you wanted to listen to the entire thing, you could just connect with me on LinkedIn and let me know that you liked or didn't like the video, and I can share that with you as well.
Okay, perfect. Everybody gets weird when they've got their trade craft, right? They don't want to give away their secrets. I'll just digress. So, Chris, don't even worry about it, my friend. So why don't we jump right into it, my guy? Tell me a little bit about what you're getting into right now. What's your current situation look like? What's keeping you busy?
I think that we can probably focus more on, do you have anything on my resume that you would like to discuss, or anything from my LinkedIn profile?
Chris, I've not even seen your resume.
Okay.
I've not seen your LinkedIn profile. My assumption is for you to work for organizations such as JetBlue and Mitchell Martin. You've got a background that's undoubtedly.
So right there, you can basically see that, he didn't really look at anything that I basically had. He just had, the LinkedIn profile. And, I don't necessarily know how recruiters actually make money, but I have an idea that it's something similar to like commission. If they can bring someone to the role that's is there, they can actually they'll make money, but they probably make money based off of like closing different deals with different clients. So the people that they're ultimately working for is not me. They're actually, in my opinion, they're working for the client, the person who's going to pay them to bring someone in. So, and then they have this data, also. They're collecting information, this information on us, on different people like me in the area, so that way they can kind of pull together on which person would be the best for that particular role. So the more connections that they make, the better decisions they can make. So that's something I actually am seeing in this particular call and many calls, so stay tuned.
Put you in a place where, you could make an impact organizations. And so, being that I'm not a technical person, what I care to hear today is about the type of work you like to do. Right? I couldn't sit here and have a technical screen with you because I'd just be making shit up, regurgitating information I've heard in the past. But I do know what a good culture looks like, what great organizations entail, and the type of workload you'll be getting yourself into. And so when you tell me about those types of things, I've got 30 different openings right now, then we can parlay into the roles that I have, talk about the finer points, the layers of the job that matter the most to you, and then see if there's a fit moving forward. Does that make sense?
It kind of does, but I just want to make sure that that trying to figure out like how do you pick different people on your roster to talk to from time to time? Is it just like a hit or miss, or is it, what makes you what was from my profile? What was actually interesting that caused you to talk? Want to talk more to me, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah, so right there, I was just saying, like, what did you actually see from my profile that, wants you to talk with me? So most of the time people are like, oh, we're looking to fill this role, and then you have this skills here. Can you tell me more about you and those skills at this particular company? This was more like, oh, tell me more about yourself and just talk about the different things that you're doing. And then hopefully they would just figure out what you're saying, and then from what you're saying, they would just create more information. Very similar to how like social media won't really tell you how to use it. You'll just start using it, and they try to give you more and more of what you're looking at. So it doesn't necessarily mean that what you're looking for is actually what you're going to get. It's not. If you want a job in X and you're looking at skills that X actually requires, then you'll get more stuff about that particular position, but you may never actually get to the position that you're looking for. So it's more about just like grabbing information from you, and less about you actually ever getting to what you're looking for. And primarily, it's great to kind of see these things because it helps me to rethink on like the strategies on how I think these particular platforms are about, so we'll continue.
Absolutely. So a number of things. First off, you're involved in the Open Source Society. Anyone that does that typically spends time in their free time and after hours writing a little code, which means they like software for more than just a paycheck. Number two, you got your first bachelor's degree, or your bachelor's degree at Stony Brook, Killer University. Every engineer that I've put to work from Stony Brook and a lot of the other technical colleges, throughout the Northeast have done really well. And then lastly, you've got a Master's of Arts in Computer Science upcoming. And if you're going through the Master's of Arts coursework for computer science, from what I understand from other engineers, that's a lot more theory, a lot more understanding of how things are put together rather than the function of actually putting them together. And so with a couple of the roles that I have open, that could be really beneficial. But again, these are all assumptions and why I reached out to you. And my hope is that as we talk through what you've done and want to do, then we can create either the reality that was an assumption, or maybe it was a reality based on other recruits that I've had in the past.
Yeah, well, you can just, probably just stop, there I can clear up them things with you with that. First off, LinkedIn's very restrictive, so I don't necessarily spend too much time like updating it constantly. But I'm currently working with focusing on like some actual work studies from Brooklyn College. That's the current status. It's not. I didn't complete that yet. That's just new. And then the Stony Brook is something I did recently. Like I was actually going to school for that, and so I completed that. But my first degree was from a private college that's no longer around. I actually let me see. I can actually, if you send me a connection request, I can share more of that profile with you, so you can have better questions if you want.
Sounds good, man. Well, maybe we should reconnect then when the time's right. What do you say?
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, then are you proposing we reconnect when the time is right? Or because I have a form that I'd love to follow through with you, but if it's not ideal for you and what you want to record and talk through right now, no harm, no foul. There's 100,000 other recruiters recruiters out there that can have a different conversation with you. What's best, my man?
No, I just wanted us to make sure you had the right information on it. If you're not connected, I can connect with you so you can see it.
Perfect.
I also noticed that you're also a mutual connection with Devin Anderson.
Yep, a technical recruiter out of Seattle. I don't actually know Devin. I ran internal recruiting for a while. Likely reached out to him to attempt to try and get him on board with one of our agencies.
So you don't know him personally?
I don't know him personally. No, I've got almost 9,000 connections. I don't know. I don't know a lot of them personally. I know a lot of them professionally, but a lot of those are single, conversation instances. And in my industry, I have anywhere from 25 to 60 conversations a week, and 10 to 20 of those are interviews. And so you count that up over the course of 9 years, and it turns into a lot of people that you've met.
So, what would you kind of say? What type of person have you filled a role for in the last couple of months?
Yeah, so I put 3 software engineers to work, QA, and 2 AppSec architects.
And they were in similar roles, or were they totally different roles?
All different roles, yeah. 3 different agencies, all different teams.
So you notice how I started asking him questions? Sorry, I just realized I just did that. You just asked me. But this is the thing about these type of roles is that I'm not really feeling like talking to people online that call themselves recruiters are going to really bring anything to me. I really feel like anybody can become a recruiter. I can go ahead and apply to some recruiter job or start up my own recruiting business and pay a whole bunch of money to LinkedIn for a recruiter account and call people and say that I'm looking for information for people because there are these roles that I'm trying to apply for. But this may not be the best way of doing it, just knocking on people's doors and selling them, stoves, tops and stuff like that. That's how it kind of feels. It doesn't really feel that it's where it could be. And this probably also opens up my understanding of like what is actually out there, for work. Like maybe there really isn't any particular type of work like that anymore. You might have to, change up the strategy on how you're going to approach looking for work online, especially when you are entirely engaging with people online, people you've never met before. They can be anybody. This probably is not his face. He may not be Josh Perry. We really don't know. But this is why I decided to make these videos, because these videos would help me to keep track of what I'm saying and what I was thinking about at the time that I was doing it.
All right. What else is there?
You mind if I flip it back and we talk a little bit more about kind of what you're doing and what's keeping you busy right now?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what to start with. That's all.
Yeah, well, tell me a little bit about, you've been slapping a keyboard lately? On LinkedIn, like you said, I see you got self-employed with some project-based work, but you've also got Mitchell Martin as a consultant. So can you just tell me, where your paycheck's coming from and what are you doing to earn them right now?
Yeah. See, sometimes he gets a little bit more comfortable. He wasn't really being that. I feel like that was a little bit unprofessional to kind of talk about those type of things in the manner that he did, and that's only because of I've talked on the phone for several different people before, and it was pretty standard on how he spoke. And this is kind of leading towards the gray area, asking me what I actually do, to earn money, or what I'm actually doing to. Am I still slapping the keyboard? Am I still working on these different things? Those are not necessarily things that you would bring up in a conversation that you speak about for the first time, and then actually expect for me to give you an actual answer. It makes me wonder on how you value your time, because it doesn't really make sense to really spend that much time and effort trying to get information from someone that you don't even know, or claim that you don't know.
Yeah, so honestly, those questions are not what I usually discuss on the, on a recruiting call with, somebody with, from a random spot. Normally, these conversations and how I get my paychecks and stuff like that, it's usually done in a little bit more of a professional manner, if you understand what I mean.
Hey Chris, I think you might need a new recruiter, my friend. I'm probably not the guy for you if you're not digging my style, and that's totally fine. I don't expect that out of anyone, and man, I've definitely enjoyed the chat. Sad that it's not working out for the betterment of this conversation, but I wish you the very best. All right, my friend?
Yeah, man, you take care.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Yeah, so and that's the end of the call. It wasn't no more than about maybe 10 minutes. You know, I don't feel that conversations like this is the type of conversation I would not like to have online. And I think I will upload this onto my YouTube channel and share it on my LinkedIn page, talking about this is not the type of conversation I would want to have. You know, if there are conversations that you would want to actually have, it would be best if like maybe you would ask me a question, you know, in a message, or you can connect with me online, and then I can respond to you with a video of like what I'm actually, you know, trying to do, or what I've actually have done. And this way it helps me to prepare and talk more about what I'm looking to do, and everybody will know that information, not just you on the phone. I really feel like if we should probably even start, you know, selling our information, you know, maybe, you know, supplying them with a LinkedIn, with not a Patreon, but, you know, like a Cash App or a PayPal account or something like that, where they pay, you know, a certain amount of money for a certain amount of time to talk with you. I mean, there are a lot of people online that you can't even you know, text without paying them. And I really think that we should do that as entrepreneurs, as professionals, as just people online. You know, our information is very important. And, you know, the more information that someone has, it will definitely cause problems in the future, because then one person can make better decisions or more accurate decisions than someone else, you know. And, you know, and that's why I also talk about this stuff on my YouTube channel, on my podcast, Decision Architecture. Decision Architecture is a podcast about technology and society. It has a lot to do about my first degree. I went to school at Stony Brook University for technology and society. And technology and society was technology system management was pretty much an opportunity to understand how to take technology and how society like coincides together, and it talks about more of understanding what we're coming into. For example, like emerging technologies, like social media platform is an emerging technology, artificial intelligence, you know, and where all these things actually, you know, come together. And I can't really explain it off the top of my head, because I want to basically end this video. But what I'm trying to basically say is that after taking this degree, this is why I'm moving into this degree with computer science, studying in machine learning, data management, data science, and artificial intelligence. The idea about it is to kind of specialize in that particular field and be able to, I don't know, maybe even start, you know, working in this field, you know, exclusively. But in order for me to do that, I need to spend more time working on it. And that means that more learning and less just working to make a paycheck, you know. So if you're interested in finding out more about that particular podcast, you know, I'll leave a link in the description and in the comments here, and then you can, you know, sign up for it. Right now, I just finished a podcast I was talking about adversarial search, which is basically a process that agents or armed bots that you create, that you train, would have to kind of be able to make decisions about an uncertainty or about an environment where there are other agents or other adversaries that are making decisions against you. That's very similar to, like, you know, playing chess, which is considered a zero-sum game. I was speaking about this before. I actually find that talking like this in the public eye helps me to strengthen the knowledge that I'm learning in class. You know, just sitting down and listening to this professor and then writing it down isn't always enough for me to understand the information. So being able to say it over and over and over again, you know, from like copying the notes from the lecture, reading the notes, reading the textbook, rewriting the slides, and then reciting it over and over again is a better process, I believe, in learning. And that's some of the things that I'm trying to go about in my particular thing. So if you want to like learn more about that, you can hit me up on Twitter. You can hit me up on LinkedIn. You could even sign up for my YouTube channel where I don't really put, it's mostly like a blog. It's not really designed to sell anything. So that's not what I'm looking to do. If I'm selling anything, I'm selling myself. So thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.